Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Patrice, and this is my Embellish Life. This week's episode, I am so pleased to share with you my finished sewing make, which included Simplicity 8885, my ongoing projects, as well as some pattern mishaps and shenanigans that occurred this week. So if that's something you're interested in, let's get in it. So this week, it's all about McCall's 6706. Yes, it's a skirt pattern that I purchased, I think a month ago, when Something Delightful had a McCall's sale. So I picked up this pattern and I knew immediately that I wanted to make view B. So that is what I made. It's not finished as yet, it's not completed, but I'll give you a sneak peek because I want to show this entire outfit in next week's video. You know how I do. You know how I do these things by now. But I'll give you a sneak peek. And it's with some printed fabric, and I color blocked it as well. I'm so excited. I'm really loving the outcome of it. Right now, the only thing that I have to complete, I do have to attach the waistband and also finish the hemming. I've already put the hemming in, but I haven't stitched it up as yet. So that's the two things that I have to complete with this skirt. I've tried it on already and the fit is perfect. I am so excited for this dress. I am so excited to talk about it more next week. Oh, good times, good times. So with this skirt, I do plan to make an entire outfit. And for the top, I really want to use some denim fabric. And this fabric, I purchased it from my local fabric store. And I think that I do want something that's kind of cropped. I'm really feeling the crop look this time. I'm so loving it. And what I do have in mind, it's either, let's see, Simplicity 8645, and I'm thinking of doing either view A or B, and this is a sort of crop halter, or new look 6266, and I'm looking at view B, and this is a sleeveless button-up short pattern, but I do plan on cropping it by a few inches just to get the look that I'm after. So those are my two contenders for the top. So next week, stay tuned for the outcome of this outfit, and that's with McCall's 6706. Also, this week, I went on another pattern hunt. I find that I love looking for patterns and buying patterns. It's a different hobby from sewing. It really is. It really is. And I do love, even though I have a love-hate relationship with indie patterns, and that's because I have to do all the taping and all of that jazz. But I do find that there are so much indie sewing designers out there, and they're just waiting for me to discover them. Yes. So one thing that I like to do is that I like to search for, you know, the lesser known indie pattern designers, because we know the popular ones. We know Itch to Stitch and Tilly and the Buddings and Cashmerette and Darren Doe and all of those good people, and they're brilliant. I love them, love their patterns. They're awesome. But there are also some lesser known indie pattern makers that I would really like to know, and I do like searching for those individuals. And one of the places that I do go is on Etsy. Now, the thing is, when looking for these pattern designers, it's a kind of, there can be such trepidation because obviously you don't know anything about them. You don't know about their patterns, how the instructions are written, the sizing, how it's going to fit. There's all sorts of questions surrounding them. So sometimes, you know, you have to step a little, you have to tread lightly when looking for these pattern designers. But that's all the fun of it. And for me, I like when I find a pattern designer, I usually purchase a pattern and see how their pattern would come out, what's the outcome of that pattern. And so that's what I did this week. Now, it's not always successful. You know, I've ran into some patterns that burned me because they were so bad. But you do find some that are pretty good. And this week, I came across Pretty Little Patterns and her stories on Etsy. And I purchased the pattern. Her pattern is a downloadable pattern. But what I do when I purchase pattern and I download them and I cut them out, this is how I store them. So the pattern is in here, the instructions are in this envelope, and I tend to print out the front page and I either tape or stick it on so I know what it is in my pattern bin. So I discovered this pattern designer, and this was originally, this is what I wanted to sew this week. This was my intentions. But I ran into some issues with this pattern. And I think what I'll do on my channel, I think I'll do like a kind of spotlight, kind of designer spotlight, showcases some of these designers and the pros and cons, or my likes and dislikes with the patterns after I sew them up. I think I'll do that. Let me know if that's something that you would like to see, but I think I'll do that. But anyway, with this pattern, like I said, it was my intention to sew this up this week. And obviously, it's not. So there are some reasons. Now, my pet peeve is that if I am going to purchase a pattern, I expect certain things to be there, okay? If it's free and they're missing information, it's free. But if I'm using my money, my hard money that I went on the plantation and I slaved and I made my money for, I expect certain things to be available. And with this pattern, I am so sorry, but there's so much information that is missing from this pattern. It's not even funny. And it's marketed towards beginners. Now, I consider myself to be an intermediate sewist. So I picked up this pattern because, you know, it's the first time learning about this designer, and I just wanted to dip my toes to see what it is her patterns were about. Hence why I picked up this pattern. But the information around, first of all, there was no information about fabric recommendations. There was nothing about notions that you needed. All sorts of information was just missing. And sometimes on Etsy, sometimes it's not in the item description, but if you purchase the pattern, they would have it in in some section on the information page. There's nothing. Okay, fair enough. There is no information about the pattern layout, how many pieces of patterns. There's nothing. And then, so I taped it together, which was another issue in itself. And I noticed that the pattern symbols, a lot of the pattern symbols were missing. And there's no symbol guide to tell you those that were available were not available, but those that were present, what exactly are they representing? So, case in point, this pattern calls for a zipper. Okay, at the beginning I said there's no information on notions, so you don't know that a zipper if you're a beginner, you wouldn't realize that you need a zipper. Okay, not until you actually get further down in the instructions and she say, okay, attach the zipper. And you're like, what? But you didn't tell me that I needed a zipper. And on the pattern piece, there's no information there to say, okay, this is where you put the zipper. Okay, also on the pattern, there's nothing to say that, okay, because a lot of the pieces, you're cutting it on the fold. But on the pattern itself, there's no indicator on where's the center front, where's the center back, where do I put this pattern on the fold to make sure that it's cut properly. So there's all sorts of issues with this pattern that I particularly don't like. And my recommendation to a lot of these, if you're interested in getting into designing your own patterns and making it available for purchase, is that you do a bit research and see what other indie sewing patterns companies, what are they doing, what it is do they present to their marketing audience, what information do they make available, and this would make it so much easier. So even though the pattern is the dress is an easy make, if you're a beginner and you're following this pattern, I would not recommend this pattern. But this style, because it's on trend, a lot of other pattern companies do have similar makes. I would recommend using another pattern. But since I've purchased this pattern because I've spent my money, I think I'll sit down and try to decipher and figure it out, because like I said, the make is an easy make. So that's God help me today. So that's something that I'll tackle sometime there in the future, and you'll see the outcome of this particular pattern. So on to the main course of this episode. I am so excited. I am very excited to share with you my completed sewing make, and that's Simplicity 8885, and it's paired with McCall's 7950. Yes. So last week I showed a sneak peek of this trouser. And if you're on Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram, and if you don't, you should just click on my Instagram handle below. Follow me, Embellish Works. That's me. That's me. Yes. So I did show the finished outfit on Instagram, but now I'm here to share with you all the entire make. So like I said, it's Simplicity 8885. It's a wide leg trouser pattern, and I did see. Yes, I did. And the fabric that I chose was this beautiful Ankara fabric that I bought about a month or so ago from my local fabric store. And if you watch my pattern haul, you would have seen that I showed this fabric that I bought 4 yards of. And I did mention in that video that the plan, that what I wanted to do was to actually make a wide leg trouser out of it. And I followed through on it. I did follow through on it, and I'm so happy. Now, the reason that I am so in love with this fabric is that it reminds me of denim. It has a denim look and a denim feel of it. And I absolutely adore this fabric. So I have my finished make, and it's all completed. It's all completed. I do love it. I really do. So with this pattern, it's a very easy pattern. A very easy pattern. I would definitely recommend this to an absolute beginner. The pattern calls for 3 pattern pieces. So you have the front, the back, and the waistband. And the only notion that I needed was the zipper. I did do some adjustments. To this trouser. Nothing too major, but I did some nonetheless. So with the pattern, originally the zipper, this is my back zipper. Originally, it was meant to be at the side, but I wanted to add pockets. So I moved the zipper from the side and I put it at the back in order to accommodate my pockets. And I'm so happy that I did that. In terms of sizing, I cut a size 16 of this pattern. Originally, if I follow my garment measurements, it would have placed me at a size 18. But what I find sometimes is that when I do that, the garment is a bit too large. So what I usually do, I size down to a 16 and then I sew at a ½ inch seam allowance instead of 5/8. So this is what I did, and I'm so pleased with the end results of it. Was the pattern difficult? It's not a difficult pattern. The pattern is easy to read. The instructions are easy to follow. I did have a mishap. You know, it wouldn't be me if I didn't have some sort of mishap. But it's not sleeves. It is not. I did have a mishap, and it's not due to the pattern. It's a human error. It's my fault. It's my fault. I take responsibility of it. When I adjusted the seam allowance, I didn't take into account the effect that it would have on the waistband. So the pattern, there's two options for the waistband. You can either do the regular waistband or have the waistband facing. Originally, I wanted the regular waistband. But what ended up happening, because I didn't take into account what I did to the seam allowance and I didn't adjust the waistband, it came out, when I attached the waistband, it came out a tad too short to accommodate a regular waistband. And knowing me, you know, I don't blame me first. I was blaming simplicity until common sense was knocked into me. So instead of me ripping out the entire waistband, because by that time I had already sewed it in, what I did, I just turned it into the waistband facing, and that's what I ended up doing. I mean, the outcome is still good. I still love the trouser, even though that was not the original waistband that I wanted. But all's well that ends well. I'm still happy and pleased with the end product. And I do have my labels. I am so happy that I finally have my labels. I feel so professional. I know I said that last week, but I feel so professional, and I'm absolutely love this pad. Now with the top, what I did, you know the story that I had with the mishap of my new look tried and true tank top pattern that I adjusted to be my crop top pattern. So I couldn't use that anymore, but I did order it and it's here. But I was so distraught because I had that pattern since the 90s, and I've had it all this time. And I'm so happy that I was able to find it at a decent price on Etsy. So I do have it back in my stash. But for this pattern, what I ended up using was McCall's 7950. And you know that I love that pattern. I talk about it a lot on this channel. So I ended up using McCall's 7950, and it's a dress pattern, but I just wanted the top portion of that pattern. So that's what I did. I used the top portion of View C to make my top part of this outfit. And here it is. Here it is. Do we love? We love. But at least I love it. So what I did, I wanted to break up the fabric a bit. So I ended up color blocking it with some white cotton material that I have. So we have the white cotton material at the front panel and also at the back panel. And then the Ankara is at the sides and the straps. And I have to admit that I do love that decision that I ended up doing. Now this pattern, because I've made it so many times, I don't have any difficulty with this pattern. But I did run into another mishap with this pattern. And that's, of course, when making my buttonholes. Buttonholes would always be my nemesis. I don't know. I need to get it together with these buttonholes. I had a mishap with the buttonholes, with two of my buttonholes. And what happened is that for two of my buttonholes, the bottom two, I ended up making them longer than they were intended to be. So I didn't want that look, so I ripped them out. And if you think ripping out black fabric with black thread is hard, you've never done ripping out white fabric on white thread. Holy Jehoshaphat! To rip out one of those buttonholes took me a half an hour each, because I had to be so careful, because I didn't want to accidentally rip one of the threads in the fabric itself. Oh my God, that nearly took me out. Sweet Jesus. Anyway, so I got that done, and I did over the buttonhole again. Now here is where I made my second mistake. So when I redid the second button, I went in a tad bit further than I was meant to. And by the time I realized that mistake, I had already cut through the buttonhole, so I couldn't do anything about that. So what ended up happening is that at the second to last button, when I fasten the button and I button it up, there's a slight bit of puckering that I'm not too happy about. So in some of the pictures, you will see that the last two buttons I've left unbuttoned for that reason. So all in all, I am very pleased with the outcome of this outfit, and I can't wait to wear it out. I don't have a particular occasion in mind. I just made the outfit, but this outfit is ready for me to go planancing with, so I'm ready. So it's currently back in my outfit. Not in my outfit, it's currently back in my wardrobe, and it's just waiting to be summoned. Yes, so excited. All right, lovies, I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode, and I hope you enjoyed my makes using Simplicity 8885. Definitely a must-have for your wardrobe. Definitely a 5 out of 5. Yes, and I hope you enjoyed what I've done with the McCall 7950. You know, that just shows you that you can actually use what's in your stash and actually hack it to make it into something that you want. You don't always have to go out there and buy patterns. You can always use what's in your stash. So I hope that inspires you to actually have a look to see what's in your stash, to see how you can recreate it to something that you actually desire. Yes. Also, I hope that you will stick around for next week when I showcase my finished product with my current makes. I am so excited about that one, and I can't wait to see what the outcome is. I hope you have a lovely day. Enjoy the rest of your week. Yes, I hope you do. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Yes. All right, lovies. Have a good one. Bye.